Welcome back. It is TVU's Most Wanted. I'm Jared, and we're at the Cool Tour. We've got to hang out with Spencer from Under Oath. Phil from As I Lay Dying was on the show. Now, we've hit the top, man. The roof. Leroy from War of Ages is on the show.
The roof. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
We're at the top of the pyramid, man.
Here we are.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I get to saw you perform. That was amazing, dude. You guys killed it on stage.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, Columbus has always been a home away from home. And, I mean, in general, this tour has been going light years better than we expected it to do. And as an opener, you think, okay, you never know how things are going to go. But when you see 800 to 1,000 kids walk through the door, right at the beginning to see your band, you're just like, all right, this is cool. We got this.
That's
we
good.
can do this, you know. And so the response has been great. And the crew from the bands and whatnot just being stoked about the band and you know, about the way we're doing things and whatnot. So yeah, it's cool.
So the weird thing about being the opening band to me would be you have like 6 hours now before the show is over. What do you do? I mean, what do you guys do after you get done playing your set? You get just showered up and you're good, man.
Well, we hang out. I mean,
Chill.
we go to the merch table. We hang out with the kids in the crowd. We all like rotate and go different places and stuff like that. Some of us are working on music for the next album.
Okay.
You know, nothing like crazy or anything. Like just tinkering and stuff. I mean, you're right. We have 6 hours of just downtime. You know, and but we make the best of it. You know, the closest Starbucks is usually inhabited by a few War of Ages
there
members.
You go.
You know, and honestly, it's hangout time with all the bands and stuff.
There's nothing
it's a
wrong
great
with
way
that.
to get to know the rest of the crew. It's a great way to get to know you know, the rest of the bands and you know, 6 hours of bro down time is cool. It's
Nice.
BroFest 2010.
Nice.
It's cool.
The Leroy from War of Ages is on the show. So we got your new video, dude. We have to talk about this, man. 20 pounds of flour?
Yep.
20 pounds of flour is
Yep.
what I heard. Tell me about shooting this video.
It was hard. Usually you think, oh, powder, that's cool. You know, it's different.
It
whatever.
looks sweet.
Yeah, it's like, this looks sweet. No, literally, we started our own pizza shop afterwards. Yeah, we were coughing up that stuff in our ears and our nose. It was. I mean, because you think, okay, powder's fluffy, whatever, but we were sweating on top
Yeah,
of
right.
that.
You're playing, so you're
we're
sweating
like,
and sticking to you.
We're literally like, I think it was 5 hours of shooting with 20 pounds of flour. You're just like wiping batter.
Oh,
you know,
that's
and,
fantastic.
Yeah, and rolling it up in
Sweaty
balls.
batter.
It's awesome. Yeah, it sounds gross, and that's exactly what it is. It's gross.
That's great.
But hey, you know, it ended up looking better than we actually went there, and he's like, I got a plan for this video. You know, the producer, you know, Drew, and I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, and I just see all this flour and bags of it just sitting there, and I'm like, what's your plan, dude? He's like, just go with it, all right?
Just follow me
and
here.
he just starts caking everything, the drum set, us, flour, all over the place. And I'm like, okay, cool, we can do this. And after about the 5th take, you're just sweating. Yeah. And
now,
you're like,
where did you shoot this video? Where could you go that it was okay to just throw around 20 pounds of flour?
It was actually, the funny thing was, I didn't know this when we were shooting there, but it was the old studio for, I think, TBN. It's like this
Really?
Yeah, the old studio in Ohio, actually. I don't remember the exact town, but it was this giant place, and we walk in there, I'm like, this looks like a literally like a movie studio. We've never done a studio video in general. We've always done like on sites and whatnot and flames and whatever else. But yeah, it was an actual legit studio with like, it looked like a whole house laid out in the inside of a house for a TV show. And yeah, we just dropped a curtain, laid out the floor, laid out the setup, and just
started
covered
throwing
everything.
flour out.
Started fighting with flour. Is cool.
So here's the other question. Did they make you clean it up afterwards? How long does it take to clean that up, and did you have to clean it up?
We helped. I mean, we were busy cleaning ourselves, but I mean, they had a crew there that was really, really awesome, and they helped pick up. They really did most of the cleaning.
Did they clean up your instruments, because, or did you go to the next show like playing with flour on everything?
My guys are notorious for wanting to clean their own instruments.
Oh,
because they're like
man.
nook and cranny kind of guys. So they're sitting there like, I'm talking like fine combing their like guitars and stuff. I'm like, you guys should just use one of the like, they have a few guitars back home they never use. I'm like, well, I wanted to use this one, and I'm like, whatever.
So when they started putting flour on their instruments, they were probably like,
Like
starting
ooh.
to sweat, like twitter
Yeah.
their thumbs, getting real nervous,
Oh
knowing.
yeah, they were not. I mean, they're stoked on the finished product as long as it was good.
Right,
It's
yeah, it
worth
looks sweet.
But I mean, at the same time, the whole time, like Steve, they're covering his guitar with flour, and he just goes, "I hope this guitar works."
Oh
after this."
man, that's amazing.
But-
All right, well, dude, it looks sweet, and we still got to talk about War of Ages' new album. Leroy, the new album's out, man. Eternal is absolutely brutal. I hear it was produced by Tim Lambesis from As I Lay Dying. Yeah?
Actually, no.
No?
It was not. No. The prior release was
Okay.
yeah, was produced by Tim Lambesis. People have been confusing it because of the last one was.
I
and
see.
We recorded at Lambesis Studios.
Okay, you recorded the studios,
Right. We recorded a studio with Daniel Katzman once again, but the problem this time was time constraints. Like, he wasn't able to do it. You know?
I see.
And I mean, he was busy recording an album for As I Lay
Right,
Dying,
right.
Powerless Rise, so he wasn't able to do it. But we opted to just produce it ourselves. And,
Really?
Yeah, which is interesting because and that's always a dangerous, thing to do. But we felt like with 5 albums, technically under our belt, and we're very critical on ourselves.
Right.
We're not like a band's like we're gonna do what we want to do. Like,
Right.
We're kind of like very subjective, and want to try different things. So, I mean, it was cool having that experience underneath your belt, and the finished product we were stoked on, and others seem to be stoked on it
Yeah,
too. So.
absolutely incredible album, man. Now, what's the difference have you guys ever, like, produced your own album before, or was this a first?
Well, we've done our own albums, but not under the light that we have now. Like,
Right.
We a little bit more understanding of what, how that end of things work, the business end of producing an album and stuff like that. We have
Right.
a little more experience.
So what was the difference between producing with, like, a guy who's behind the scenes just going to be the producer for the album and you guys as a band producing?
Well, there's a big difference because you have to be very subjective about your own music.
Right.
To whereas an outsider looking in could be like, I don't like that.
Right. And
You
it's
know?
just, yeah.
And then the other guys
He's
are
a
like,
producer.
well, okay, why? But when you're like brothers, you're like, I don't like that. Shut your mouth.
Shut up.
But
Shut
the
up.
cool thing about this album is the fact that, we all went into it knowing we were going to produce it ourselves, and we wrote the album way different than we've ever written any other album. We started early. We wrote a series of riffs, picked out our favorite ones, and constructed a song around those riffs.
Okay.
And we didn't even go into the studio expecting to sing.
Huh.
Or have Sonny from POD lined up and ready to
Right,
rock.
right, absolutely.
It was all ideas.
That's sweet.
And then it just all came together.
Awesome.
In the end, and we actually, Josh from As I Lay Dying,
Yeah.
sang on the CD, and we didn't originally want him to do it. We actually had this guy from Ignite,
Okay.
named Sully. He was going to do it because he has that high voice, and then he wasn't able to because he was in Europe for some other tour in Europe, but so we had Josh because he lived at the place that we were recording.
Right.
So
That's
it all
sweet.
just kind of came together.
Very
My
cool.
singing on the album was not planned.
Very
Just,
cool. I like it, man. Like I said, the album is absolutely incredible.
Cool.
Very good album. So you guys got the Cool Tour going on right now. Real quick before we let you go, what's War of Ages got coming up after the Cool Tour?
Well, there's some things I can say and some things I can't. I'm gonna talk.
That's what they all say. It's you. See this camera right here? That's the reason they can't tell me what's going on.
Well, there's rules
Right.
that I've come to find out about bands, and there's all these rules. You can't say something unless it's already out there. But
Right.
But I can tell you about our headliner. We have a headliner that we're looking to do in October.
Awesome.
Basically, it's like the As I Lay Dying, Powerless Rise tour, Cool tour. We gained all these fans from that,
Right.
and now it's time to show them that we're here to
Sweet.
to represent.
Sweet.
So that's what that headliner is going to be about. And then we have a couple more support tours coming out.
Okay.
And then hopefully we're going to wrap it up with a nice co-headliner of some kind. And
Cool.
that's all in the works. But
Sweet.
we have a couple of support tours already.
Awesome.
You know.
So if you want details on what you guys got coming up, I take it you can check out MySpace, Facebook,
MySpace, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, I mean, we got everything.
everything.
We got all those things on lockdown.
Yeah, sweet. All right, well, Leroy, thanks so much for hanging out with me on the show today.
No problem,
I appreciate
brother.
it, dude. That wraps it up for the Cool Tour. If you missed any of the interviews, if you want to find out where the Cool Tour is going, if you want to pick up War of Ages' latest album, which I would recommend, it's all online. TVUlive.com.
Eternal.
Check it out.